babe. Just like you. Look,
wine.
you're Crip.
Great wine.
This is a South Sider right here. Turn up the 13s. On hood, I'm home. On hood.
Oh my motherfucking God.
The streets of Los Angeles are absolutely buzzing right now, and the internet is on the verge of a total meltdown because the rumors we have all been waiting for are finally reaching a fever pitch. Welcome back to the channel, where we dive deep into the heart of the hype, and today, we are tackling the biggest story in the culture right now. Is the 55th Street General actually back on the pavement? Reports are surfacing across social media and underground news outlets claiming that the legendary Crip has officially been released from behind those cold iron bars. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, we have to make it clear that we are strictly commenting on the massive wave of reports and viral whispers currently flooding our feeds. Nothing is set in stone, but the sheer volume of chatter suggests that something monumental is happening behind the scenes. Can you imagine the chaos? Can you imagine the energy? After months of silence and speculation, the word on the curb is that the King of the Five has touched down and is ready to reclaim his throne. Fans are absolutely shocked, and the atmosphere is thick with a mix of disbelief and pure adrenaline. We are seeing blurry photos and cryptic captions from his inner circle that have sent the narrative into overdrive. Is this a calculated return, or is the community just manifesting the homecoming of one of its most polarizing figures? Emotions are running incredibly high, as everyone from rival neighborhoods to die-hard supporters weighs in on what his potential presence means for the landscape of entertainment and street politics. The tension is palpable because if these reports are true, the game is about to change forever. Stay tuned as we break down every single rumor, every leaked detail, and the explosive reactions that are currently dividing the internet into those who believe he's home and those who think it's all a massive cloud of smoke. The rumors started as a low hum in the early hours of the morning, when a grainy video began circulating on a private Telegram group, showing a figure that looked remarkably like the 55th Street General stepping out of a black SUV near a well-known spot in the city. As the footage spread, the digital world exploded with questions, because no one was prepared for the sudden shift in energy that his presence always brings. Close friends of the family began posting blue heart emojis and cryptic messages about the return of a king, which only added fuel to the fire that was already burning through every comment section on the internet. The streets themselves seemed to hold their breath as if waiting for the official confirmation that would change the entire power dynamic of the local scene. People were calling each other across time zones, asking if it was true, and if the man who made 55 a global brand was really walking free once again. The emotional stakes could not be higher because his absence left a massive void that dozens of imitators tried to fill, but none could ever match his raw charisma and unapologetic loyalty to his neighborhood. As the news filtered down through the various layers of the community, the reactions were a wild mix of celebration and genuine concern for what his return might spark. Some fans were seen pouring out drinks in honor of the homecoming, while others were quick to point out the potential for renewed friction with old rivals who had grown comfortable while he was away. The atmosphere was charged with an electric tension that you could almost feel through the screen as influencers and bloggers scrambled to get the first exclusive scoop on his whereabouts. Inside the inner circle, the drama was reportedly reaching a breaking point, because not everyone was ready for the general to reclaim his spot at the top of the hierarchy. There are whispers of intense private meetings where members of his team argued over how to handle the sudden spotlight and whether to address the public or keep them guessing for a little longer. His family members were seen arriving at a private residence in a fleet of vehicles, their faces hidden behind dark windows and heavy security presence, which only served to confirm that something massive was indeed happening. For many, this is more than just a news story. It is a moment of cultural significance that reflects the complex reality of life in the spotlight. The general has always been a figure who evokes strong reactions, and seeing him potentially back in his element has divided the fan base into those who are ready for the next chapter and those who feared the consequences of his fame. As the day progressed, more witnesses claimed to have seen him at his favorite local eateries, greeting people with that signature smile and the energy that only he can provide. The narrative took an even more dramatic turn when a rival group posted a provocative video claiming that the general's return would not be as smooth as his supporters hoped. This sparked a series of heated digital exchanges that showed just how fragile the peace can be when a big personality enters the room. Accusations began to fly about who stayed loyal during the hard times and who turned their back when the cameras stopped rolling. The personal stakes for those involved are incredibly deep, involving years of history and shared struggles that the average viewer can only imagine. One high-profile associate was heard in a leaked voice note sounding completely overwhelmed by the situation, saying that the pressure of the homecoming was becoming too much to handle. The emotional weight of the situation is heavy because for his mother and his closest relatives, this isn't just a headline, it is the return of a son and a brother who has been through the fire and come out on the other side. The local community centers were filled with people discussing the implications for the youth who look up to him as a symbol of resilience. Despite the controversies that follow his every move, As the afternoon sun began to set over the hills, the speculation only grew more intense with every passing minute. The digital landscape was a battlefield of opinions, with some claiming that this was the greatest comeback in the history of the streets, while others warned of the shadows that often follow such a bright light. The drama was no longer confined to just one neighborhood, as international fans joined the conversation, making his name trend in multiple countries across the globe. The sheer scale of the reaction shows just how much influence he truly has and why his potential release is the only thing anyone can talk about right now. Every post and every picture was analyzed by thousands of amateur detectives, looking for any clue that would verify his freedom. Some pointed to the specific sneakers he was seen wearing in one photo, claiming they were a brand new release that he could only have obtained if he were truly out and about. Others looked at the background of the videos, trying to match the landmarks to specific streets in Los Angeles to prove the footage was recent. The level of scrutiny was intense because the general is not just a person. He is a symbol of a specific lifestyle and a specific code that many people hold dear. The arguments between fans in the comments were reaching legendary levels of pettiness, with people bringing up old interviews and past conflicts to justify their stance on his return. Despite the uncertainty, the one thing that remained clear was that the energy had shifted, and the world was waiting for the general to make his first official statement. The tension between his old friends and his new business associates was also a major point of discussion, with many wondering if he would stick to his roots or move toward a more mainstream path now that he had a fresh start. This internal conflict within his camp was reportedly causing a lot of friction, as different factions fought for his attention and his loyalty. Reports of a massive celebration being planned in secret began to circulate, with details of a red carpet event and a parade through the neighborhood being discussed in hushed tones. However, there were also rumors of a heavy law enforcement presence watching the situation closely, ready to step in if things got out of hand. The balance between a joyful homecoming and a potential flashpoint for conflict was a thin line that everyone was walking with extreme caution. As the hours ticked by, the story continued to evolve, with new layers of drama being added every time someone picked up their phone. The general's name was being spoken in every barbershop and on every corner as people debated the merits of his influence and the future of his career. For those who have followed him since the beginning, this moment felt like the climax of a long and difficult journey, one that had been filled with ups and downs but had ultimately led back to the streets where it all started. The emotional depth of the situation was evident in the way people spoke about him, with a sense of reverence and respect that is rarely seen in the fast-paced world of modern entertainment. As the first part of this unfolding drama comes to a close, the only certainty is that the general is the center of the universe right now, and everyone is just living in his world. The streets are talking, the fans are watching, and the world is waiting for the next move from the 55th Street General himself, as the reports continue to pour in from every direction and the legend grows with every passing second. The momentum of the street chatter only intensified as evening fell, because new reports started surfacing about a supposed secret gathering at a well-known soul food spot where the general was allegedly seen breaking bread with his closest allies. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife, as cameras caught glimpses of expensive jewelry and blue bandanas draped over the rearview mirrors of luxury cars lining the block. Word spread that a heated confrontation had broken out inside the restaurant between two of his longtime associates who had been managing his affairs while he was away. Sources claim that emotions boiled over when accusations of financial mishandling were thrown across the table, leading to a scene that left the restaurant staff and other patrons in a state of total shock. It seems that the return of the king has not only brought joy, but has also exposed deep-seated resentments that were simmering under the surface for months. Fans who were gathered outside hoping for a glimpse of their hero reported hearing raised voices and seeing security guards scrambling to maintain order as the internal power struggle within the camp became public. His mother was reportedly seen leaving the venue with tears in her eyes, looking overwhelmed by the chaotic energy that follows her son everywhere he goes. The divide between those who want him to stay focused on his music and those who want him back in the trenches is becoming a major point of conflict that could define his first few days of freedom. Meanwhile, the digital space was erupting with reaction. Videos from other prominent figures in the scene, some offering their respect, while others questioned the legitimacy of the release papers being shown in blurry screenshots. The mystery of how he managed to touch down so quietly without a formal announcement has led to endless conspiracy theories about potential deals or early release programs that have the community divided in their opinions. Some skeptics are arguing that the footage being seen is actually old and being recycled to create hype for a new project, but the sheer passion in the voices of those who claim to have seen him suggests otherwise. The general has always been a master of suspense, and this latest development is proving to be his most dramatic entrance yet, as the lines between reality and rumor continue to blur in the neon lights of the city. Old rivals are also starting to make their voices heard, posting cryptic messages on their stories that many interpret as a direct challenge to the general's authority on 55th Street. The stakes are rising with every minute because, if he is truly back, he is entering a landscape that has changed significantly since he left, and not everyone is willing to step aside and let him take his place at the head of the table. The psychological weight of this homecoming is starting to show on the faces of his inner circle, who look exhausted by the constant media pressure and the need to protect the general from both his enemies and his overzealous supporters. As the night deepened, the streets remained crowded with people, waiting for a sign or a word from the man himself, but all they got was more speculation and more drama as the story shifted from a simple release to a complex web of betrayal and loyalty that is still unfolding in real time. As the clock struck midnight, the energy shifted from the streets to the digital corridors, where a series of leaked text messages, allegedly from the general's own brother, began to circulate online. These messages suggested that the homecoming was not as harmonious as it appeared on the surface because there were claims of a massive betrayal involving the general's primary manager. The screenshots showed heated exchanges about missing tour funds and broken promises that had been made while the 55th Street legend was still behind bars. Fans were absolutely shocked to see the internal structure of the empire crumbling just as the leader was supposedly stepping back into the light. The drama intensified when a well-known female associate of the camp went live on social media with tears streaming down her face, claiming that she had been sidelined and silenced by the new security team that had taken over the perimeter of the safe house. She hinted at a divide within the family itself, where some members were being denied access to the general, while others were being accused of clout chasing at his expense. The comment sections were a battlefield of opinions, with many people questioning who could actually be trusted in such a high-stakes environment. As these accusations flew, the general's official page posted a single black screen with a ticking clock emoji, which many took as a sign that a major announcement or a confrontation was imminent. The tension between the old guard and the new followers reached a boiling point when a rival neighborhood figure posted a video mockingly welcoming the general home, but subtly pointing out that his territory had been managed by others in his absence. This direct jab at his authority sent shockwaves through the community, because everyone knows that the general does not take kindly to challenges on his home turf. The emotional conflicts were not just about business, but about the very soul of the movement he built from the ground up. Family members who had remained quiet for months began taking sides in the public eye, posting photos with captions that clearly took aim at specific individuals within the inner circle. The atmosphere was thick with the scent of a brewing storm as the various factions prepared for what many believe will be a massive sit-down to settle the scores once and for all. Even the fans were divided, with some calling for peace and a focus on the music, while others were hungry for the raw reality of the street drama that has always surrounded his name. The sheer unpredictability of the situation is what keeps everyone glued to their screens, because with the 55th Street general, you never know if the next move will be a handshake or a total takeover. The stakes have never been higher for the reputation of the neighborhood and the legacy of the man who put it on the map. As the night wore on, more videos surfaced of cars circling the block where he was rumored to be staying, creating a sense of urgency and a fear that the celebration could turn into a confrontation at any moment. The general's silent presence in the middle of this whirlwind only adds to the mystique and the drama, making every leaked detail feel like a piece of a much larger and more dangerous puzzle that is slowly coming together before our very eyes. The atmosphere finally reached a fever pitch as a blurry livestream started on a backup account showing what appeared to be the general himself, standing in a brightly lit kitchen surrounded by his most loyal soldiers. The room was filled with the smell of home-cooked food and the sound of celebratory shouting, but the joy was cut short when a heated argument broke out in the background between two high-ranking members of the circle. The camera swerved to show hands waving and fingers pointing as accusations of disloyalty were hurled across the room in front of the man everyone had been waiting to see. The general reportedly stood calm in the center of the storm, his face a mask of stone, as he watched the people who were supposed to be his backbone crumble under the pressure of his return. Fans watching the grainy feed were absolutely shocked to see the internal fracture happening in real time, as one associate was seen being escorted out of the building by private security. This moment of raw vulnerability showed the world that coming home is not always a smooth ride, and that the 55th Street empire might be facing its biggest challenge yet from within its own walls. As the stream abruptly cut to black, the internet was left in a state of pure hysteria, with thousands of people debating whether the general can actually unite his divided family or if the scars of his absence have run too deep to heal. The drama has moved beyond just the streets and into the hearts of everyone who has followed this journey since day one, leaving us all wondering what the first official words from the King of the Five will be when he finally decides to speak to the world. So, there you have it, the streets are buzzing and the internet is officially on fire with these reports of the 55th Street General finally making his big return home. Do you think Crip is truly back to reclaim his throne, or is this just another chapter of unconfirmed drama? We want to hear your thoughts, so head down to the comments and let us know if you believe the hype. Make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe with notifications turned on so you never miss a breaking update on this story. Thanks for watching and stay tuned. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.